Do you like scary movies, listener? Well, guess what? We have Scream coming up, the original and the new one, right here.
Haven't Seen It with Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenay. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Thank you all so much for listening to us today. First of all, we want to give a big old shout out to Ryan the Oso for making that wonderful intro. I think it really spices up the show. What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, it gives us a real nice, what's it called? Beat Jazz Club, wherever the fuck it's called.
It's called sexiness, Tommy. It makes the
That's
show
what it is.
a
Swag.
little sexy. It's not swag. It's just sexy. It makes the
Yeah.
show sexy. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I am
excited?
good. I'm excited. We are going to see the new Scream in about 90 minutes. So I've been hyped for this for a while. It's going to be great. And so, fuck yeah, let's go.
So why are you so hyped, Tommy?
So Scream, the movie that we're covering this week, both the original and the new one. The original is a top 5 movie of mine, and Timmy has given me so much shit for it over the years, and I finally got him to actually see it for once.
Who are you?
The question is, where am I?
The critics call Scream the most terrifying movie of the year.
Help me, somebody!
It's clever, hip, and scary.
Yeah?
Wes Craven is in top form,
Motives are incidental.
and Rolling Stone calls it smashingly scary.
Oh my god.
Drew Barrymore gives a tour de force performance that rivals Janet Leigh's in Psycho. It's the scariest movie of the year.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Scream, rated R. Starts Friday, December 20th.
What did I think of it, Tommy? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, that's what I just asked.
I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I
Fuck
was
yeah.
really impressed at how good it was. It was one of those movies. It never came into the stream of conscious, and I definitely missed it. I was really well impressed at how everything was grounded in the horror. Like, it was grounded, and it was very straightforward, and it wasn't like the humor and like the cynicism is not like on the forefront. It's literally in just the motive of the killer and how he wrinkles them up. That is literally like the cynic part, and the rest of the movie is just kind of like a drama about a girl trying to come to terms with what actually happened to her mom and who her mother was, and it just has a horror movie kind of plopped around it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like you said, with the horror. It's a horror comedy, which that trailer we just showed did not highlight the comedy part at all. It's like along with like one of the best horror comedies where the horror hits hard and it's scary and it's like, oh crap, and then the humor gives you immediately that little attention relief there. You go, okay, let's laugh. It's a great movie, I think, to watch with friends, especially over the last year or two. I've showed this movie to about like 3 or 4 friends where they told me they haven't seen it, and I was like, what? We need to watch this like right now.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest regret was not watching it with you in person.
As you see me just staring you down the whole time. Like, did you see that scene? Did you see that scene?
That does happen where you show somebody a favorite movie and you know what's coming, and you're just like looking at them like bouncing up and down in your chair, just like, come on, girl, come on, you can do it. But
and I'm the asshole where, like, if I see my friends on my phone, friends on their phone.
Oh, no, Tommy, you are the king of sitting and watching a movie and just shoving your face in your phone. So I don't ever want to hear.
I've gotten a lot better about that. I used to be really bad, but during quarantine, I was like, okay, like I need to change my screen share a little bit. So I've been gotten better where I turn off my phone a lot when I'm watching a movie if I have nothing really to look forward to. But like I was saying, I'm the type of guy where if I'm showing a friend my favorite movie, and they're on their phone, I immediately will tell them, like, this scene coming up is great. You have to watch this right now. Like, come on.
Oh, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. But yeah. I think one of the reasons it really works so well is the beginning. And also, if you're worried about spoilers, if the movie is not released in the past month, we don't give a shit. So
yeah. So 25-year-old movie, you had your time to catch up on the original Scream. So if you're worried about the new one, we're going to split this in part in 2. So we'll tell you a little bit break part where we'll be, okay, we're going to the new one, and then you can listen whenever you listen to the new one or see the new one.
So I think the first part the intro with Drew Barrymore and the killer. Is does he have like a name, Tommy? 'Cause
So
you're
the
like a
ki-
nerd about this, so
yeah, I'm a huge horror guy. So the killer's called Ghostface. That's
Ghostface.
the little mask he wears and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I always just associated it with like that movie, obviously, and
Mhm.
but the idea, I knew the joke of it was that they were using this mask because it was a mask that they could find. You could find any, like I think the cop even says that. Yeah, we ran a five and dime on them, and it turns out they sell these things, a quarter everywhere. But the opening scene of this movie really sets the tone, and it
Mhm.
puts a lot of the humor in it. But it says take this horror seriously. It's not. This is not a joke. This is not just like a cynic. It's not epic. It's not one of those like epic movies that came out like 10 years later.
Yeah, one of
But
those god awful movies.
yeah, or a scary movie in that vein, which is very directly where this movie's parody from.
Mhm.
But it Drew Barrymore is like I rewatched it again after I saw that. I just rewatched like the first 10 minutes of the movie. She's like, incredible in that, but in those first 10
It's
minutes.
it's great. Like the opening scene is I think one of my favorite cold opens in any movie ever, where the first 10 minutes are just focused on her, and I love the little things that Wes Craven does in it, where like, for example, you have the popcorn in the movie, where in the beginning of the movie you see Drew Barrymore with the popcorn, putting it on the stove and stuff like that, and as the tension of the horror gets more and more racketed up, you see the fucking popcorn just like bursting up and like almost causing a fire by the end of the scene. It's a great like way to show the tension, you know.
Yeah. Well, so I pulled a little clip of just one of my, this is a minute sequence and it's early on, but this is where it builds. You start to feel the tension building. It kind of crescendos a little bit. Like it crescendos and stops.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Uh-huh.
I only eat popcorn at the movies.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy in the white mask who walks around and stalks babysitters?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Guess.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the one where the guy had knives for fingers?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's right. I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
So, you got a boyfriend?
Why? You want to ask me out on a date?
Maybe. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Like I love that. Like that conversation Roger Jackson is the voice on the phone. He plays the killers who are both, it's Stu and Billy. They're the two boyfriends in the movie. Turn out to be the killer. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
And
like we said,
spoiler alert. His voice is just incredible. It's the most it's that guy at the bar with just like this that like pulls these girls. He's like 42 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's still pulling girls, and you just hear this voice, and you're just like, what a scumbag. But it just like it nails the landing. Like it's just very smooth, very silky, and then he's just kind of flirting with her about this movie, and then it's like, I just want to know who I'm looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Then immediately he's like, let's go into it right now. So
yeah, and from there, that's pretty much where like any like the kind of like the calmness of this stops, and when the tension really starts to build. I think one of the things that also really works is the music. Like I loved the music, especially in the first 10 minutes. I thought it was really well played, very traditional, like a very kind of traditional horror score, but almost a little lighter too, like not too over the top, just like perfectly like builds tension from the minute the camera starts rolling.
No, especially like in horror movies, like more than anything, like the score really matters. If you have a terrible score, then the movie's not going to come off as scary. So I just like how they just like really just like I said, just build the tension right there from the beginning. You first watch this movie and you're like, oh, was this just like a babysitter just having like a flirty conversation with a guy about horror movies? And then right there, that one little drop, and immediately the score just just highlights that like
just starts to tickle in with a little
yeah.
and
So-
not to skip ahead, but just because we're kind of touching on the score, like this is right when Drew Barrymore's been, this is like near the end, Drew Barrymore has been stabbed, and this is her when she's seeing her parents walk back into the house, like unaware that their daughter is just dying on the floor right next
It's
to them.
so
Like
fucked.
but this music is so perfect for it.
Yeah.
They look great, don't they? Oh, I told you could send it back.
Like like that is just that is brutal music. That's like the
Yeah.
end of the Lord of the Rings battle or something, where like the heroes lost, and just like that, like
Yeah.
the end of like that music should have been playing at the end of Infinity War when Thanos snapped his fingers, and just
the
like
dust,
all these things, and like it's just Iron Man looking around like what the I fucked up, and then just like seeing Spider-Man die in his arms, like just
Very sweeping music, and that whole scene, especially right there, is just so heartbreaking. Where you see, like, she's so close to just like being able to call her parents, and she at that point has been stabbed so much that she can't even talk. Where it's just like, oh my fucking god.
That's
And
why
then-
that's why I left that little bit in there of just but that's what I mean. But that's so good. Like that doesn't sound, that sounds so believable, of just like the and it kind of shows how brilliant Wes Craven was at making these movies when he had the material to work with.
When he had the right script, Wes Craven was one of the best horror directors ever. Without a doubt. You know, he made Freddy, and this he made Freddy Krueger, and he had a little dip and all the sequels that he wasn't involved in right there in the beginning, which I love that part where it's just
he got it out of the way. He got it out of the way almost. Just like
he's like, I just need to shit on these other movies that I wasn't a part of, like immediately. Let's just get that out.
just these movies I fucking hated.
Yeah.
And because I didn't get money for them.
Yeah.
That's
is
probably why.
Yeah, no, exactly. Where he like probably only got like story credit. He was involved in 2 of the sequels, but that's a whole other story that we can go into. But
Well, we should talk about like the kind of the legacy of the movie. But
Yeah.
one last thing I want to touch upon the beginning of the movie is just, I watched a video after this is my first time seeing Scream. I don't think we established whose first time it was seeing.
No, we
Scream.
did earlier. I mentioned you never seen it, so
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I watched a video where a guy literally has a map sequence, like an overhead of the house, and it has Billy and Stu and Drew Barrymore, who's Casey, right? That's
yeah,
her name?
Casey. Yeah.
Casey, where she is in the house, and then wherever the boyfriend comes from too, because Stu is the one that sets that up in the back of the house while Billy's talking on the phone, because Billy's the suave out of the two. Billy's way more
I think
suave.
Billy's usually the one on the phone, and
Oh,
Stu's
for
the
sure.
one doing the killing, if I had to guess.
It's for sure. That's what the guy was saying in this video, but it was like an overhead view, and it times out the entire sequence, and it's like all the locations of these two. Because like in my first watch, I didn't know what was happening. I literally knew that Courtney Cox and David Arquette met in this movie, and I knew the "Was Up" commercials, and I literally was like, I thought that was gonna like be in this movie for a minute, just like, oh, "What's up?"
Because that's in Scary Movie, which is a weird thing where it's a parody or satire rather.
Yeah, I was getting it. I was like, why? Because it uses the same mask, and I'm like, where's the "Was Up" scene coming? And I was like, that in my back of my brain's like, Tim, it's not this movie.
So when I first was telling you about like Scream was in my top 5, were you thinking of just like mostly Scary Movie, being like, what the fuck trash is Tommy talking about?
Well, I didn't really think there was going to be like a real heart to it, and like an actual like fleshed out story, and all the characters are fleshed out enough for this kind of a movie where like you actually get explanations. Like I've seen enough of like trash horror, like slasher 80s garbage,
like your Freddy and Jason's and stuff like that.
Well, not even those, but like Nightmare on Elm Street's a fantastic movie. But it's like, I'm talking like the stuff that went like straight to VHS. Like I've seen the best to the worst of those, like the compilations of them where, it's just a guy with an erection filming topless girls, and and like
Yeah.
like
Very
you think,
exploitative.
you think that guy was choreographing where the killers were going to be, like where the killer was going to be in the house where people were going to be? Like, do you think he thought that logic out, or do you think I could probably get some actresses to take their tops off because I'll pay him $10,000 of this guy's money from the hills? Like that,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of horror is, and that's what this is definitely playing off of
Yeah.
too. But I just think that, like, it just, in the first 10 minutes of that movie, you see the polish and you see like the love and the care and the craft in the sequencing. Because when you think about it, like, I had no idea. I thought maybe it's like some magical guy in the woods, like some Twin Peaks shit.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But nope, it's two killers. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of weird cuts where you're like, human.
How could he be at two places at once? Yeah.
Yeah, a human couldn't do this. And I get it, and that's the movie telling you, but I'm just not thinking of it like that.
Yeah.
And it really like kind of like blew my mind seeing it like that. And that's when you see like what separates a Wes Craven from like others. Because I know Wes Craven, he has The Hills Have Eyes, right? Like the original. He has Scream, and he has Nightmare on Elm Street. But like not a ton else has been like rose to the level of Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream.
Exactly. Of his two franchises, those are pretty much his big ones. I've been on such a Wes Craven binge lately. His other movies are not really as like, some are okay, but I mean, like, he has like an Eddie Murphy movie where Eddie Murphy's a vampire, and the less said about that movie, the better. It was very mediocre. And pretty much
really, that's disappointing. It wasn't just like a train wreck bad worth watching or like good, because that seems like a pretty solid pairing.
It had its moments where like Eddie Murphy is like doing his like funny shit, or like he's like playing. This is the beginning of Eddie Murphy playing like 20 characters on screen at once. So it really leaned into that a little bit. So to extent it was kind of funny, but it was kind of like, this is kind of mediocre at points.
If you really want to understand Eddie Murphy in Dr. Dolittle and in Norbert and in all of those movies, this and what's the one where he was the big guy?
Oh, the Nutty Professor. Yeah.
And the Nutty Professor. If you want to understand how Eddie Murphy really established, watch this Wes Craven Eddie Murphy movie.
It's Vampire in Brooklyn.
Vampire in Brooklyn. You watch Vampire in
Brooklyn. And that
Brooklyn.
came out about a year before Scream. So I guess
that was 95.
Yeah, Scream was 96. This was 95. So Wes Craven was kind of in a point in his career where he had Nightmare on Elm Street, and he directed a sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street about 2 years before Scream called Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And that really, in some ways, it was kind of like a predecessor to Scream, kind of like a spiritual prequel, I guess, or where basically the plot of that movie is that Freddy attacks the real life actors from the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and Wes Craven plays himself. He has the head of New Line Cinema playing himself, the original actors from Nightmare on Elm Street playing herself, and it's very meta in the way that Scream is. But nobody gave a shit about the movie. Did terrible at the box office, and at this point in horror, your Freddy, your Jasons, your Michaels, your Chuckies, and Leatherfaces. We're at the point where they're on like their fourth or fifth sequel, and at that point, all the sequels are just trash. I love them, but they're trash. They're just like,
horror does have that distinct quality, and I think it's one of the. I'm not the biggest horror head, but the reason I'll always respect horror is that it's usually low budget, and you can usually get a director to come in and do something. They'll do something that you've never seen before in a horror movie, where if I see that romantic comedy that looks like I've probably seen it 700 times because it's the same script and the same camera work and the same lighting and the same actors. I feel like what makes horror distinct is that as you said, like, it has its moments. Like, yeah, give me like a Vampire in Brooklyn. All right, give me the 5-minute cut up here. That's all I need to see. I don't need the rest of the context.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. Horror, I think, is the easily my favorite genre of all movies, and it's because I think, in my opinion, the only genre where even if the movie is bad, it's at least going to be fun, or at least you're going to have some fun taking the piss out of it. And
it's like that and action are the only two. But I guess, but you know what the thing is, when they just kind of fall in the middle, especially those two genres, like, and kind of most movies, when they just kind of fall in the middle, it's like,
It's okay, I guess, but it's just boring or something like that, you know?
like I think back to those movies where I'm like, they're not technically bad, they're fine. The
Yeah.
story makes sense, but I'm like, nothing memorable happened in this, and it was so by the books.
Exactly. It's one of those things that, like, I love the Friday the 13th movies, and I know that they're trash, but they're one of those movies that I can have a couple friends over and we can, have a couple beers or something like that and play a drinking game to the Friday the 13th movie and laugh about how crazy and shitty the stupid kills were, or, oh my God, can you believe like how bad the actor was on this scene right here?
Yeah, it's that. Well, isn't Crispin Glover, who is the father in Back to the Future? He's George McFly. He's
Yeah.
in one of the.
He's in one of Friday the 13th Part 4 with Corey Feldman of all people. And there's one scene, you should look this up on YouTube. In Friday the 13th Part 4, Crispin Glover does a dance to some 80s hair metal song. And it's the craziest, weirdest, fucking bizarrest dance you've ever seen in your life. And it's just like, oh my fucking God, what the hell is going on here?
But what is it? What is his move? What is his movements?
Very like spazzy, and he's like you're not seeing what I'm doing on the podcast. This is audio, but like Tim's just seeing me the spazzy. He's going like this and that, and like fucking just moving his hands to one.
I'm watching him.
Direction.
I'm watching him use his arms to make his boobs bounce. That's pretty much what I'm doing. What I'm viewing over the screen.
Yeah. This is all the action you're missing out on if you're only getting the audio here.
Well, you're not getting the video because we don't know how to do that. So,
and
if
no one wants to see this video.
and if somebody wants to help us out, reach out. We're trying to grow the channel.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, like even the cheesiest ones I can still appreciate. Where I can't say the same for a shitty drama or a shitty like comedy, because a shitty comedy is just boring.
Well, shitty. It depends on how far it goes. If it's when it's like epic movie and it's just like generic and just like, we know this isn't funny, but these are jokes that people will get.
Reference.
When it's all referential humor, it's terrible. When somebody makes something just horrendously bad, like a comedy, but they think it's funny. Like, I mean, isn't that kind of what Tim and Eric is? Like, it just, you have to get on that meta level of like understanding that like they're aware this is stupid. Yes, like they're aware of how stupid this is. Like, you have to get on that referential level with, it's a mind. That's why it's not for everybody, but the people who love it because they understand that it's like, this is comedy. Why can't we just be as silly as we want to be? It's that, but yeah, horror as a whole. But where do you think Scream is in the horror realm, like in terms of like its impact? Because one of those movies, like I thought it was Scary Movie, but it's nothing like Scary Movie.
Scary Movie, yeah, like I said, it's weird because Scream is, I wouldn't call it a parody, it's more of a satire. I think the difference is a satire takes it a little bit more seriously, and it's not like
it's not a parody, it's definitely more satirical and just like and smart about it too.
So it's one of those things, while they're making fun of like all the slasher movies, they're still at the same time making a good slasher movie, which is kind of a weird, delicate line that like is hard to pull off. But in terms of its impact, I think that Scream, this might be bold, but I think Scream might be the most important horror movie of the 90s. Because like I said, at that time, nobody really cared about horror for the most part. Like most horror movies weren't really grossing that well, unless it was like Interview with the Vampire with Tom Cruise, which that's probably more of like a romantic drama than it is more of a straight out horror movie.
That's like a prequel to Twilight.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like romantic dramas and whatever. But like I said earlier, nobody really cared about your typical Hall of Fame slashers like Jason and whatever. So after Scream came out, all these, you can see it in like the late 90s where a lot of fucking studios, especially Miramax, wanted to do their own version of Scream. So you had Scream 2, obviously. You had I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was written by the same guy, Kevin Williamson. You had Urban Legend, which was terrible. And you had The Faculty, written by the same guy as Scream, which was great. And it's like a lot of like different 90s slasher movies where it's like, okay, let's take the hottest TV star of today and put him in this random slasher movie and we'll see how it works out. And that was basically the template of horror for about 4 or 5 years right after Scream came out. And people actually started caring about it.
Maybe this movie then that I think would probably just in today's like horror landscape be more impactful from the 90s. And I think it's the only other one I could even think of that could even contend with it. I think Scream's the better movie. I think Scream is the one that, like, if you're trying to build a really good, well-polished horror movie, you do this. But it's the Blair Witch Project.
Oh well, yeah, Blair Witch is.
That's the most That's the most impactful horror movie from the '90s. This is probably the best horror movie from the '90s.
Well, yeah, and so, definitely in terms of like because Blair Witch essentially birthed the genre. I mean, you had found footage movies that were before that, but they didn't really have any impact, and nobody really cared about them. So, but yeah, literally, you can't say that Scream birthed the genre like Blair Witch did.
So let's go. We got to talk about one specific character.
Okay.
And before we just mention the character, I need to talk about representation in movies and how important it is. No, because it's true.
Yeah.
Think about how diverse a lot of our movies have become, and I think that's great. I'm a total champion of it. A lot of people are now seeing who they see themselves as and who they want to be now on screen. It's very relatable, and it brings in a bigger audience. But you have to understand, for Tommy, when he first saw this movie, he saw the movie character that he dreams of being. And his name is Randy, and he's a horror movie nerd, and he knows the rules of horror movies.
Don't you know the rules? What rules? You don't... Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules?
Have an aneurysm, why don't you?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1, you can never have sex. Big no-no! Big no!
I'm a dead man.
Keep him in popcorn. Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. No, the sin factor. It's a sin. It's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
You see, you push the laws and you end up dead.
How many times have you repeated that monologue to people, like in college, and then everybody left the room?
Like a fucking 1,000 times, where you try and go on those nerdy movie tangents, and people are just like, "Can we just talk about something else right here? Can we shut the fuck up?"
I tried to once do the bat scene, the bear juice scene from Inglourious Bastards, and people like, "Tim, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I've had a lot of beer, so please just."
I guess my closest thing to Randy was in college, when I would get very drunk at the end of the night. I would put on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, and that would clear out everyone.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, it's great! It's Guardians of the Galaxy. There's 70 songs," and people would hear me drunkenly screaming out the Pina Colada song, and everyone's like, "Well, why are we here now?"
And whenever you had, you brought a girl back to your apartment, the night would always end like this, and she'd run out screaming.
You listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
That's pretty much right. How accurate is that? You'd try to make a Scream reference, and the girl would actually run out screaming.
I've actually showed a girl I was dating Scream back in high school, and she was very like, "I don't want to watch a fucking horror movie." I was like, "This isn't that bad. Come on."
The relationship ended very soon after.
Yeah, probably. That's very real. So, but no, Randy, especially that scene right there. I've watched this movie now like probably 20 or like 30 times at this point. Let's be real. And every time during that scene that we just showed, when immediately when he's like, "You don't know the rules," and he puts down his beer and just clangs it down and starts shouting at people and telling everyone, I lose my shit every time. I fucking die laughing. It just Jamie Kennedy's character is such a fucking douche.
Well, he's you, Tommy. He's literally what would happen to you in a horror movie. You would talk about horror movies the entire time. Then the killer would come. You'd get stabbed. You wouldn't die. Then you would try to save the hero, and then get like pushed down by somebody, and then just lie down there until it ends, and then like climb out with the girl. That's exact. You would literally lie there and pretend dead. Like, oh, my friends are dying.
Well,
this hurts though. I just wish I had my Switch to play 2K.
Yeah, right. Like as I play 2K in the background, I make sure the killer is like not nearby me. I'm like, okay, like cool. Where I love that scene too, because it reminds me of Timmy and I have a thing with our friends where we do movie nights a lot, and a lot of beers are involved, and it's exactly like that scene where we're all cheering and hollering and be like, "Oh my god, what?" It's great.
Yeah, it's called movie roulette. You'll learn about it someday. That ending, the whole movie I think is really well paced, and like the second act is kind of just like a soapy drama with a little horror sprinkled in, and it's really about Sydney coming to terms with the fact that her mother was a giant hoe bag, and this death, the death of Casey is bringing all this back up because now Gail Weathers, played by Courtney Cox, who met her future husband or ex-husband, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
David Arquette. That they met. This was the first time of the meeting, I would assume, right?
They haven't met beforehand. They literally, I think Courtney said something along the lines of in Scream 1, they were just flirting. Scream 2, they were sneaking off in each other's trailers. And by Scream 3, they had their own trailers individually. So are they their own trailers for each other?
Oh yeah, they got the double
joint.
wide. They got the double wide.
They got the joint trailer, yeah.
I feel like if I had trailer privileges, I don't want to share that with anybody. Like I don't care if you're together, you're spending all this time. I don't know. Just come over. I want my own space. If you want your own space, whatever.
Exactly. So, so what are your thoughts on Gail Weathers and Dewey in this movie?
I thought it was interesting. It's probably one of the, not that it's clunky because it's not bad, and it's just to bring Gail in, and I actually like that. Yeah, she's a scumbag, but she was right. Like she's the scumbag that's at especially her first 5 minutes, like she's completely ruthless.
Yeah,
chasing Sydney out of like a police station to get an interview where she just clocks her in the face, which is awesome.
Sydney clocks Gail Weathers, which is amazing.
Awesome. And
I love that. I love the movie. They have so many points like this in the movie where it's almost like a recap of the previous scene. Where right after that, you have Tatum played by Rose McGowan just being like, "Oh yeah," then you just punched Courtney Cox in the face. Bam, super bitch down. Sydney, awesome.
Rose McGowan when she still had hair. What a tragedy.
I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I said, watching this movie 20 times. There's one scene. I don't know if you caught this part with Dewey, played by David Arquette. Dewey, basically, for people who haven't seen the movie or haven't watched it in a while, is this bumbling cop, essentially. And there's one scene where he's with the sheriff, and they're talking about how all these killers and all this crazy stuff. And the sheriff, the whole time while he's talking, is taking a drag of the cigarette, and Dewey has a cone of ice cream the whole time. And he's matching the sheriff taking a puff of his cigarette with him licking the ice cream cone. And every time, it wasn't until recently I had to caught this, but like, I was like, oh my God, this is the most hilarious part of the movie where it's Dewey just looking like a fucking child and they're really bringing home this guy's such a fucking inexperienced doofus.
Yeah, well, I think that's why it kind of works. Like, yeah, it's kind of forced. Like, well, she's flirting with him at first just to get information, and it works, and that makes sense because she's totally a dirtbag trying to get information on like kids who lost their parents. But when they go to that party together and Dewey invites her on a walk, I think she likes having somebody that impressionable because she
likes to.
She manipulates impressionable viewers. Like, I mean, that's kind of what the news job is. A reporter's job is to make an impression on you. But she kind of just warms up to somebody who's kind of like not taking that seriously, because I think her thing is that it's like she does gotcha journalism, which may be right, but people don't take you seriously as a journalist, as a gotcha journalist. And she really wants to use the Sydney's mother's death case to release the book with conspiracy theories to kind of legitimize herself. It really works well. Like, I think the pairing works well. David Arquette is nowhere near good looking enough for Courtney Cox, but that's just another story.
Maybe whether X, but it's one of those things where Dewey even trying to flirt with Gail is just so awkward in the movie, where he says stuff where he's like, oh, like they're walking out together and he asks her, this is things you pick up on after watching the movie so many times, where he's like, oh, do you know what that star is right there? And she's like, no. And he's like, do you know? And he's like, no, I was asking you because I thought you knew.
No, I like that. I like that line. That was one of more favorite lines.
Yeah.
And while that's all going on, that's when the big reveal of Billy and Stu. I guess one of my hangups is it makes like, is Billy like a brainwasher? Did they go into this in the sequels? There's legitimately no reason Stu at 17 years old should just throw his life away to just be like Billy's partner.
I do love that they touched
sociopathic games.
I do love that they touched on it a little bit. I think that like So Stu and Billy, we really haven't touched upon them really yet. So Skeet Ulrich is Billy, and Stu is Matthew Lillard. I love Stu just saying after Billy gives this huge motive of like why he's killing everyone, why he wants to kill Sydney, and then huge expository dialogue, and then she asks Stu like, "Why do you do it?" And he's like, "Peer pressure."
Yeah, yeah. And then what was and Billy's was like, oh, I don't know, maybe your hoe bag mom was cheating on my dad, and that's why my mom abandoned me.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like he actually has like a motive where Stu just and like they didn't try to exhaust some like stupid revenge thing that wasn't underlying there. They just tried to be like, yeah, we got nothing.
Yeah, but because Matthew Lillard is just so fucking funny, like, especially even when he's trying to be menacing in the movie. For me, it kind of works. Where it's just
I
like,
think especially when he's trying to be menacing, because he's just not menacing, but he has a gun in his hand, so he's kind of like he's only menacing because of the gun. He's not menacing
Yeah.
because of anything else.
Matthew Lillard is literally like overacting like crazy, and it fucking is amazing. Where he's just like, "Well, guess what, baby? It's gonna be a scream," and it's like, "All right."
Well, he was overacting to begin with.
Yeah,
from the beginning, he was overacting. Wes Craven probably said like overact the shit out of this. Like we want you to be off the reservation.
Yeah, and for me, it works. He's like, I think one of my favorite characters in the movie easily. So his performance, even when, so to go on a quick tangent, real quick, I actually went to a horror fest back in September to go, and Billy and Stu, so Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich were there, and even in person, Matthew Lillard is just that rapid fire, that fucking funny, that just over the top manic energy, where it's just like, oh god, you can see why he was cast in this role.
Little cocaine on him.
Maybe back then at least.
But yeah, Scream, very good movie. Like very, very, very good movie.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Who stole the movie for you, Tommy?
Like I just was talking, Matthew Lillard, I think, is my MVP, the star of the movie. Him just going off crazy in the end reveal scene where Billy's more just like a little menacing, and you have the little comic relief of Matthew Lillard saying stuff where he's like, "My mom and dad are gonna kill me when they find out," and everything like that. He just goes over the top, and every time he makes me laugh. He's why I look forward to the most when I'm rewatching this movie over and over and over again.
And maybe it's just because it's my first watch through it. I think, and we didn't really touch on her, but Neve Campbell as Sydney, I think she not that she has to carry a lot, but I feel like in a lot of horror movies, it's really hard. Like people just tend to not give a shit about like the main human. And I think Neve Campbell did a really good job of making herself kind of accessible in that way and making her a part of like the story that you're able to connect to, and to actually have like a legitimate, mental hurdle she needs to overcome with her mother's death, and kind of coming to the realization that her mother wasn't who she thought she was. I think she's really good. I mean, we mentioned it. Drew Barrymore in the first scene just sells you into the movie, but I would personally say I think Neve Campbell. And
I think that's a strong choice. I mean, usually in these horror movies, the final girl only is in one movie or gets killed off very quickly in the sequel. And it's a testament to the Scream series that she's going to be the new one coming up that we're about to see.
Whoa, spoilers, dude. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Yeah. So spoilers for Scream 2 through 4 if you haven't seen it.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
All right, Tommy, does this movie work as a Muppet adaptation?
No, but I want to see a Muppet slasher movie where it's just fucking insane Muppets, just like all the felt coming out or something like that with a ghost face killer or something. That'd be amazing.
I agree with you in a traditional Muppet adaptation.
Yeah.
But in a Muppet adaptation where Ghostface is replaced by a Muppet,
yeah,
and everybody else is human, and they're just taking a Muppet like dead straight serious as a killer.
Yeah. The puppet killers.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That's what I'm talking about. That Muppet adaptation works.
So if you had to recast it, who would be Ghostface in the Muppet cast?
I don't know. I'm like, who? I kind of want to just see Fozzie Bear just to
What?
see people like overacting. That Frank Oz voice. It's just so ridiculous.
Waka Waka, what's your favorite scary movie?
Yeah, exactly. Like and just Drew Barrymore being cut in. Like, I don't know. I guess I like Halloween.
I want to see this. We need to. Someone needs to greenlight the Muppet remake of fucking Scream.
I have Walt Disney on speed dial. I'll get in touch with them. Don't worry.
Cryogenics and everything.
Yeah, through the cryogenics.
Yeah.
So ratings, Tommy.
All right. So, like I said, this is a top 5 movie for me. So 5 stars out of 5. It's one of those movies that I can rewatch this movie constantly. And in fact, I've seen this 5 times in the past year. Just rewatch it over and over again. I just love the little mix between horror and comedy, and how it's able to take the piss out of itself, but still deliver great horror moments and really great snappy teen dialogue and like great teen characters and stuff like that. So this is one of my favorite movies. I love it. 5 stars. So
I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. I think I'm not the biggest horror fan, but I think this really exceeded my expectations. It's a great movie. It really is. If you've never seen it, definitely watch it. Also, if you're like very not blood like horror movie thing, like I think it's really mild in that regard too, for like an R-rated horror movie that's still scary and still has those moments, but it's on the milder side. I also just want to say one other thing. I like how not dated a movie from 1996 is. Like there's only like one real 90s song in there in the music.
the
like,
one
the wardrobe, the movie store. Yeah, Tommy, I know that's dated, but
we'll touch upon one part. I just want to mention the one part of the movie that I think that ages worst is when they talk about how Billy got caught with a cellular telephone, and they keep on bringing that up. He's like, "Why do you have that
cellular telephone?"
Yeah, and they keep on mentioning like that. They're like, "Why do you have that cellular telephone there, Billy?" And if this is today, I'd be like, "Yeah, like everyone has one. What the fuck are you talking about?"
But those guys at those time would call that a cellular telephone. It's like any parent seeing like an Xbox and being like, "How's that Nintendo you got there, son?" Like it's the same thing.
Exactly.
But
so
it wasn't super dated, and like police jeeps in those like 1990s movies and like Twin Peaks with like awesome cars, just straight up awesome cars. Gotta just throw it in there at the end. 4 out of 5, great movie. Scream 5, also known as Scream, coming up next.
There's certain rules to surviving. Believe me, I know. They always come back. The killer is a part of something in the past. This one just feels different.
You're all in danger.
Mom? Where?
Sydney.
I've seen this movie before.
Not this movie.
You said we were gonna finish this. Go finish it, Sydney.
Scream.
I'll be right back.
He's dead.
Only in theater and special previews Thursday at 7 p.m. Get tickets now.
So welcome all back in. We are about to start discussing Scream 5. Before we start going into heavy spoilers, I'm just going to give a quick little my general thoughts on Scream, as it's so dubbed, boldly for a movie that is quite a reboot. It kind of actually reminds me a little bit of another reboot from just a couple of years ago that went by its apt title. Is it kind of like a Ghostbusters 2016? Or could it be something a little bit more? Something for a big group of fans, perhaps?
Chewie, we're home.
So this is called Scream, but it should have been called Scream: The Ghost Face Awakens. Tommy, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, so you're not wrong in that aspect. It did follow similar plot beats, but also at the same time, in that Scream fashion, it did comment on like pretty much the requels and stuff like that in a very Scream fashion. Scream 2 does something similar. It very felt much a very part of the franchise. I did like how they just had like meta commentary on it. For me, as a Scream fan, I really liked it. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
So I'm looking at it as 2 days ago I saw Scream for the first time.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I just watched the same fucking movie. Okay, we're getting into spoilers. The third act takes place in the same goddamn house from the first movie. They literally set it in the same place. I don't care about like the plot beats. It's literally the same. I started
That's
to
the point of the
notice
movie.
it.
They fill it into the movie. They basically
Yeah, but it was
pretty much make it. The difference is that Scream is very self aware of what it's doing, and it's very
yes, but it got for me. It went way like the first one knows what it's doing, but it's not in your face about it. It's just like these are horror movie fans, and this guy knows the rules of them, and these people laugh at him, haha, and then it all happens. This one is like a literal just comment on the state of horror movie fans, like toxic fandom, and just so referential. Like it was like half of that script is just referential.
Well, yeah, a lot of these three movies are. So, as someone who has seen the sequels, unlike you, this very much in line with a lot of the sequels. Scream 2, for example, just commented on sequels so much to the point that they had a whole scene of characters talking about like if like Terminator 2 was better than like Aliens and stuff like that, and very much like these are the beats that would happen in this sequel, and very comment on it. Scream 3,
Which one's better, Terminators or Terminator 2 or Aliens?
Terminator 2. Cameron,
that's correct.
Yeah,
that is correct.
It's very close though.
No, I don't even think it's T2 is just like a masterpiece. Aliens is great, but Aliens built him up to T2. But this is not a movie about movie podcast about James Cameron's Terminator 2 because we both seen it. God damn it. This is a podcast about a movie we both just saw a half an hour ago. We just got out of the theater.
Yeah, literally. So this is our very much instant reactions right here. Yeah.
So I would agree. Not having seen it, it felt very in line with the Scream franchise. It felt very much like, because this is the first one without Wes Craven directing it. They even the end of the movie, save for Wes at the end of it, because it was very much his, especially towards the end of his career, very much his franchise.
Yeah. Scream franchise is one of the only franchises where up until this one where Wes Craven directed every single one and was involved in every single one. Like,
yeah, I saw that on his like IMDb.
Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, all Wes Craven. Usually in a fucking horror franchise, it's like, okay, after the first one, the director has nothing to do with the sequels, and he's like, I don't talk about that.
Yeah, that tends to be what happens. I don't hate this movie.
Okay,
and maybe it's because I just haven't seen the other ones, and I don't know if it like follows that flow. But it just felt like it was so beat for beat, though. Like just not so much in the plot of the story, just in the characters. Like the characters were just
there's some points of it where it felt kind of like annoying, where like I did like the first half in terms of like the kills and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought the kills were great. Like the kills of the drunk guy got into a fight with what was the friend's name? One of the friends.
They got in a fight in the bar. So pretty much there's this guy who's like a creep that's hanging out with high school kids, and Ghostface attacks him. Played by fucking Kyle Gallner, I think his name is.
Kyle Gallner. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Nightmare on Elm Street remake too. So
see, so I think that's the only kill to me that's not super clear, or maybe I just can't remember if so. Spoiler alert, a young girl in Woodboro, California gets attacked, but this time she actually lives. In the first opening minutes, very reminiscent. Tara gets attacked, and she has a group of friends, just like in the original Scream.
Yeah.
And I had thought that one of her friends, who I think his name was Chad, right? Yeah, Chad was the kid. I'm looking at him right now on IMDb. He's twins. He was Randy's nephew. He got into a fight with this kill, and I was like convinced that him and the girlfriend or him and the sister were gonna be like in on
Yeah.
it.
So how did the movie do as a whodunit for you in terms of like, were you shocked by the surprises?
I started suspecting the suspect. I kind of put Jack Quaid's character out of my brain. I did not
Yeah.
not
I thought he
expect
was eliminated immediately. He was like, okay, he's not a part of this.
Richie, yeah, like him just being completely out of town. But the one thing this just doesn't have, and well, one, we don't spend enough time with like the friends for the first 2 acts of the movie for them to just like the original one, you spend enough time with each of like the important people. They each get like a little bit of a moment outside of Sydney.
That's Sydney, the main girl. Yeah.
They get a little bit more spotlight, and you just get to know them a little better, and it adds to the who done it side of it. And then we come in and it's just all these people, and I'm like, why would these people be a who done? Like, we don't know any of these people, so it's kind of hard to guess who would be the who done it, because they miss like an hour. They're out of it for like an hour of the movie until they get to the party scene.
There's a big part of like a lot of these requels that Scream is like satirizing, where it's just like the balance between the new characters and like the legacy characters. Like they even say straightforward in Scream, it's always a tricky line. There's been very few requels that have been able to do it, or like, for example, like Blade Runner, where like Harrison Ford doesn't show up until like half of the movie.
Yeah, but that is like beautiful, because it's not his story. He just happens to be that's why I loved that movie, because he's not a focal point. He's in the last 30 minutes of the movie, and that's like what build like the marketing of the movie almost ruined that for you, because you're like, well, I'm expecting Harrison Ford, and it's Blade Runner, so they have to put Harrison Ford in the advertisements, because nobody's going to go see Blade Runner in a movie theater.
Guess what? No one saw the movie anyways.
That's what I'm saying. They've proven that 2 times now.
Yeah.
That nobody's going to go see a Blade Runner movie in the theaters.
Harrison Ford or not, like, just fuck that franchise apparently.
But I think I was surprised by the whodunit, and then Amber, who she's the tease in the beginning of Ghostface on the phone being like, I hacked your friend's phone. So was this like, we talked about in the first one, the choreography and how like in sync of it, everything was. So Richie was Jack Quaid, who's one of the killers. Richie was up there, attacked her, but Amber didn't know about him yet, and then they met at the hospital when the sister who's been
is that what they said
comes up. That's what they were saying during they were doing the preamble of how these two paired. It literally made no fucking sense.
No. What I gathered from it was that Richie and Amber met on like a Reddit site like months before the movie happened, and they started talking about stabbing. They started getting connected that way. And they tried to like play it off as like they didn't know each other, so no one would suspect either of them as the two killers.
That's probably it. Yeah, she calls him like honey, but it's not explained at all. Like a literal.
They don't explain like, did these two people date or whatever? Like what?
We met on stabforums.com.
Slashers are us.
Yeah, whatever.
Slashers only.
Yes, only slashers.com.
Only slashers.
It would not be that was the part of it that just kind of didn't make a ton of sense.
I'll say this, when the movie started, in terms of the whodunit aspect, I was thinking for a while that Amber seemed obvious as fuck. She was just like immediately just like very off-putting.
Well, you know who that actress is, right?
Who?
Mikey Madison. Do you recognize her from another movie? It's a movie I know you have seen.
Is this Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, she plays Sexy Sadie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think she's the one that gets torched in the back.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, please. There's no spoilers in that movie. That movie is just like that's a hangout movie. There's not a spoiler because there's not really a plot to that movie. It's all soul, baby. That's what makes it beautiful. Yeah.
Do you recommend it though?
I 100% recommend that movie. Yeah, this is just, it's a weird case of, okay, this was clearly meant to be a 2021 release, but due to COVID, they probably fucked with the scheduling, right? Because like they even said almost 25 years to the day at the end of the movie like being referential to it. They felt
Well, just because the movie was released in January doesn't mean the movie takes place in January.
no, I know that, but I'm saying, but we're talking about the release of the movie. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't have to time up. I'm saying they probably went into production in 2019, like end of 2019, early 20s,
Well, to
slating
be
for
fair, this only came out like a month, 25 days and a month after the original Scream came out, because the original Scream came out in December, so it's not that far off when you think about
I'm
it.
surprised they didn't give it a December. I guess you just don't give a horror movie a December release with when they're going against like the
Yeah.
Matrix and Spider-Man. Like
You-
like this is the movie
you're
that
not
people
gonna
go to
compete.
see when they're just looking to get out of the house in the snow and they can't do anything outside.
Yeah.
Yep. How was your theater? How was your theater?
Very empty for the most part. Not that many people, to be honest. And I feel like I was the person laughing the most, or like,
Of course
like,
you were.
At one point, I said like "fuck yeah, Dewey" when Dewey was like going after Ghostface. You know, I know
Oh
like
no.
I was trying to be that guy.
Thank God I
That was the
wasn't
only
there.
time. That was the only time I said that. I said that right when like a crash happened, so no one could really hear me saying it.
We had one. I heard one audible, and I can't even remember what it was, but it was a comment back at the screen where they asked one of those kind of self-referential, but this time it wasn't self-referential.
Yeah.
And they're like, so you don't die, dummy, or something like that. And it got like a very mild laugh. But it was like a 400 seater, I think it said on the outside. And I want to say there was like 180, maybe.
Yeah,
Which isn't bad for the Thursday before of like the 5th of a horror franchise in the middle of January with COVID still going on. I feel like that's pretty
that's not
fair.
bad. For me, it was like 100 capacity theater with maybe like 20-30 people in there.
Yeah, that's about.
Yeah, it's probably what we expect with theaters and everything like that. You almost wonder
I think tomorrow you'll probably get bigger crowds. It's also still like a work night technically. Like this is the one for the people that just can't wait to see this movie.
And then Timmy,
or
who
they
has
have
to do this for a podcast.
Yes, pretty much is essentially. Or I have to do this for a podcast.
Yeah. So we're making something to work for Timmy where it's like, oh fuck, I have to go to see Scream 5, which should have been called 5 Cream. We've talked about this.
No, Tommy, you know why they called it that.
If there's a running
It was
joke
a self-referential parody of the 2016 Ghostbusters, and that's going to make me like the movie. If somebody hears this podcast who's working on Scream and you really want to take some deep shots at a really bad reboot attempt and make it a part of your lore,
yeah,
just like Venmo me like $5,000 and we're good. I swear to God.
So is this our new running joke where we just trash the 2016 Ghostbusters every time?
Any chance I get.
Any chance you can. So I'll say what I said always. It was all right. I thought it was okay.
It was literally I was like forming it. Like the first thing I thought of was
Timmy
like
was
the
on the
ghost
4chan
face.
Reddit boards talking about this.
Yes, the first thing I thought of was the ghost face awakens, and then I'm go like, and then like I was like walking back from the movie theater, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh wait. What scale, where is this in the spectrum? Because the best reboot is still The Force Awakens, even though it hasn't aged as well. It is still a really, really, really good delivering of what the fans want. And 2016 Ghostbusters is not, and it's not for anybody. I don't know. It's just a movie. It's a weird movie, but that's not what this podcast is about. This is a podcast about Scream 5.
Scream.
David Arquette was back as Dewey.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of him?
He definitely filled in. If we're talking about The Force Awakens, he definitely filled in the Han Solo role, like one for one almost. But David Arquette, I thought was really good. I haven't seen him in the movie in a minute. I thought he played the kind of just like Dewey in the fourth one was like the sheriff of the town and like really good and like everything, and then Dewey this time was just broken, depressed, and an alcoholic. I think he played that well, of like the guy who just like couldn't get past the fact that Gail like divorced him.
Yeah, I loved that he just was like a depressed raving lunatic who was just like
Yeah.
drinking and watching his ex-wife do her morning show every day. And like,
Yeah.
did he have a sign underneath of like the morning show with Gail Weathers or the Today Show, whatever the hell they were?
The morning
They're
show, wherever,
parodying it
yeah.
on- yeah. Oh, so I'm looking at David Arquette's IMDb page. He has been in a lot of stuff, but he is currently in the John Cusack stage of like the direct to Redbox garbage of
Oh yeah, yeah.
of like some Italian guy will pay him to be an action star for 2 weeks, and he gets to be an action star and the movie's terrible. Like, have you heard of the beautiful 2099, the Soldier Protocol? He is Dr. Emmett Snyder.
Oh God, no.
What about Spree, where he plays Chris Kunkel? That is
No.
it. Kunkle.
He was in Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell. In like
Yeah, that
2013.
was like 20. Yeah, that's a while ago though. That's
You're making me realize that 2013 was 9 years ago. I'm like, fuck. Time
I
passes
didn't-
of time.
I didn't make no, it's 2015. I didn't make you
okay.
think anything. You're the one who just brought that into your own sad head.
Yeah, well, it's one of my orbit now. So time passage of it, crazy.
So was he still with Gail in the fourth one?
And the fourth one, it was very awkward because it was a year after they divorced, but they still played a married couple.
Well, they probably were filming it while they were divorcing.
Apparently it was like right after they divorced, and people said like sometimes the set got tense, but they try to stay as professional as possible.
Yeah.
Which, like, God, can you imagine? It'd be awful.
Yeah, but let me ask you this then.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Tommy, who's the star of the show?
Honestly, we were just talking about him, and maybe because he's just fresh in my mind, I think David Arquette did. So Dewey really just felt like a good, like, he was great in that role. It's a role he's pretty much gonna be known for. He pretty much had a great fitting final send-off for him, which is crazy. It took him like 5 movies to finally die, but Dewey was great, and it was great to see David Arquette again, and I hope that like he shows up in more shit again. So it's good seeing him again.
So there's a lot to pick from here because you have legacy characters, you have new characters. We didn't really talk about Liv, who was the lead, right? The main protagonist. She was played by Sonia Amar. I thought she did a pretty solid job. She's
she's pretty good. And she had a lot of good moments with Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, and we had Neve Campbell come back as Sydney Prescott. We had Courtney Cox return as Gail Weathers. Shout out to Courtney Cox as plastic surgeon for being the same one who did Joan Rivers, because oh my God, there's so much good plastic surgery. What the hell happened to you? Do you not have any money? Like, oh my God.
She was aging.
Sweetie. Yeah. Tommy, look at a picture of Christy Brinkley today. That woman is in her 70s and she looks like she's 40s.
All right.
It's out there. Tom Brady looks like younger than us and he is 45. He's almost 20 years older than us. All right, let's not push beat around the bush here. So I really like David Arquette's performance. I really felt like this movie let him get over his divorce with Courtney Cox a little bit because
they basically had a scene that was like therapy of them going at it, whereas Courtney Cox and David Arquette just like laying out everything for like all of America to see and scream for.
Yeah, Jack Quaid was pretty good too, but I'm going left field here. Somebody who didn't get a lot of screen time, but I'm taking Mikey Madison, who played Amber, the second killer. I thought when they finally just like said go, like just ham it up, she kind of, like as we were saying about Matthew Lillard in the first one, like she kind of hammed it up, but she did it it's not the same hamming it up. It was in that like emo, like not emo, but like that like darker, like I'm interested in fucking people up. Or Matthew Lillard was just like, I got subdued by peer pressure.
Matthew Lillard's character was more of like a bro that was just like, oh fuck, this would be fun, and just got dragged into it. Whereas Mikey Madsen, like, she was equally fucking like crazy.
Yeah, she was equally as crazy.
In a different way.
And it was about like toxic fandom, which was weird because they also said before about these movies not making a point about any social commentary, and then not that it's important social commentary, but they did make a point about toxic fandoms and how if people don't get what they want, they're just in revolt. I don't know. I try not to look at these things as fans anymore. I just try to look at them kind of like objectively of, is this just good on its own? Like if you just strip the pretense of the original Scream, is this good, And that's kind of where I lie, but I did enjoy it, but I just wanted to bring that point in there. I know we're in the star of the show section, but I just had that thought cross my mind. Anything you want to say back, or
pretty much just like I think the final point of everything, like the toxic fandom, the motive of them, I thought it was pretty clever in a way where it's just like, okay, like they're just trying to like fuck everything up in a different way, and like what was their end game? Like, so like who would be the survivors? Like Jack Quaid and what's it called?
yeah, and
that'd be it.
Amber, yeah, they were. I guess. I mean, they never actually really have an end plan because they're gonna, as an audience, they're going to die.
Yeah,
like that would have if that movie just killed everybody and they got away with it. If they actually did that pivot, which they weren't going to do because it piss everybody off, I would have loved this movie, Tommy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if they had made all that self-referential nonsense, the entire movie, pretty much the entire movie is all self-referential, and then they killed the last remaining two characters from the original movie, and then killed this entire new cast except for the killers, I'd be in. I would totally have been it.
You're like, okay, let's see what happens.
No, I would want to Scream 6, and all the fans would not have wanted to Scream 6 because they wanted to see the ending of Scream 5.
Well, this is what I think. So with Scream 5, Sydney and Gale still live, but do you think the franchise is going to go in a direction of, if they're going to do a Scream 6, assuming this one's successful, would Scream 6 have to involve Sydney and Gale again? Do you think, or just like at this point, focus on the new characters? I
guess they establish the new characters, like that's technically the job of it. But if they're not working, and you just give them a call and just say, hey, it's 4 days work, it's it's $1 million.
Sydney, come back.
You're around, little Sydney Prescott. We'll give you a little, blow to the face. She looked good, by the way.
Yeah, Neve Campbell.
Neve Campbell. Yeah, she looked really good.
Yeah. She was great in that role. She's played Sydney now like 5 times, and she's owned that role.
She was in 4?
Yeah. So yeah, Scream franchise. To touch on the sequels, is the rare one where rare horror franchise where every single one involves, up until his death, Wes Craven, the writer Kevin Williamson, he was involved in some capacity, and Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette. They're in
that's the trio, which is weird because from the first one you wouldn't recognize that to be the trio, but I guess they probably expand on that a little bit.
I feel like also in Scream 2 that they're kind of like, okay, Jimmy Kennedy, you're kind of a dick. Like, let's get you out of here.
Who?
Kind of Jimmy Kennedy, who played Randy.
Oh yeah, they're just like, you're not. You worked in the first one to tell us the rules. Now get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but Scream 2, like Jimmy Kennedy on set was probably such a pain in the ass because like in the second one he's doing like an English accent, he's doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, he's doing all these like different like wacky shit, and it's just like we're like, all right, Jimmy Kennedy, just like tone it down like a little bit. That being said, I do love Scream 2. Scream 2 I think is just almost as good as the first.
All right, I'm going to ask you a very similar question that I asked you earlier.
Okay.
Are you ready, comedy partner? Waka waka.
The Muppet adaptation drop doesn't really work as well when it's
sequel.
When it's a sequel and we're doing it in the exact same podcast and it's kind of the same movie. But tell me, do you think it works as a sequel?
So I'm gonna go if I said last time no, but again, I just want to see a movie of like I said, we need a Muppet slasher movie. That'd be amazing. Did they try to do that with Brian Henson, where he did the Happy Time Murders?
Yeah, I heard that was. I didn't see that. I heard that was like, don't even.
It's one of those things. That'd be a cool concept though, where it's just like, okay, like do like a fucking like gritty Who Framed Roger Rabbit's type noir, but make it super violent with puppets, and I would think that'd be amazing.
Yep. The problem is that just like it's very niche and it's very hard to get. You need a real established. No, you would need the Muppets to get an actual audience. Like they did the Happy Time Murders with like the puppets from Avenue Q. Like no one gave a.
It was original puppets. And
even worse. Yeah. You can't do originality anymore. This movie is literally, that's the message of the movie. You can't be original anymore. and not with something that niche, at least not right now. Maybe on like YouTube, and you build like a cult following up of the people who would actually want to see this. That's how you,
Like me and like 5 other people.
like me and you and like a podcast or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but all right, let's rate it. What did you think? Out of
All
5.
right. So I did like I said, I did like this movie a lot. I'm a huge Scream fan. To the point that I did a marathon of all 4 Scream movies prior on Monday or Sunday rather, back to back. Took 8 hours. So as a big Scream fan, I thought this was a worthy sequel. I think that they kind of balanced the act between legacy characters, I think, pretty well with the new characters to a point, with especially with Sam. Some of the friends, not as much, but the kills were great. Ghostface was menacing as possible. There's some great scenes in it, like when Wes's death scene, where they kept on faking you out, make it think it was like, this is gonna be where Ghostface is. This is gonna be where Ghostface is. I thought that was really effective. Overall, if I had to give it a point, I'd say 4 out of 5. So, yeah, really sequel.
2.5 out of 5. I think it's a solid movie. I think it's worth your time. I'd even say it's worth your dollar if you're looking to get out of the house and go see something. If you like a horror movie, if you like the Scream franchise, you'll most certainly enjoy it. I just wish they didn't just tell me the same story, and I guess it's a little less effective. Like, I think it might have been more effective if I had seen Scream, wasn't doing a podcast about Scream, and you and I just decided to go see Scream 5, and I hadn't
If
seen
this
it
wasn't
in 5
homework
years.
for you.
No, it's not that it's homework, but it's if I hadn't just seen Scream, spent an hour talking with you about Scream, then literally went to the movie theater and watched the same movie that we just spent talking about, and then coming back here, it just feels.
The thing that sucks is that without seeing the difference between us is that I've seen all the sequels, you haven't, and at least like they even touch upon this in the movie. It's like, oh, you're the most derivative of all the ghost faces, because in Scream 2 takes place in a college, completely separate. Scream 3 takes place on a Hollywood set where they're killing the cast of the Stab movie at that time, and then Scream 4 is back in Woodsboro, but it's not like the same house and same characters and same plot points. Like they didn't have Mindy shouting at the screen exactly what Jamie Kennedy shot on the screen in the last movie.
Yeah, that was
the one thing I was like, come on, really? Like, do that again?
And I mean, it was literally the same kind of fake out of like the stabbing motion too. It was a little much for my opinion.
That was the one thing where it's like,
but I guess just for me, maybe if I had gone and seen this, and I just hadn't seen Scream in 5 years, I probably would have really enjoyed it and liked the humor of it. But I also tend to look for like originality. As I said, if they had done that big switch where the killers do escape, and they broke the rules of horror movies
completely.
It would have been great to be in an audience watching them all just be completely devastated. and then just me like kind of
you laugh on our tears as we're crying our eyes out because they've killed Sidney Prescott.
Oh yeah, wait, I can't remember. I think when Courtney Cox was crying over Dewey's death, I started laughing because she can't cry anymore because she's had too much collagen in her face, and just I
the funny thing is that it works for Gail though as a character that she'd have.
Oh for sure. Oh yeah. Oh for sure. But it was the plastic surgery just makes it a little funnier,
Yeah.
But yeah, very solid movie. You'll enjoy it. When I'm just a harsher grader than Tommy. 2.5 out of 5 is not a bad rating. It just means for me it's an average movie. I didn't hate it. I think if I'm going to rewatch a Scream movie, because I will end up watching the sequels at some point, I'm just going to probably watch the original Scream. That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, out of all of them, if I had to do my franchise rankings real quick, this would slot in at probably number 3. So for me, it goes just real quick. It's Scream 2, this one, Scream 4, and then Scream 3. Scream 3 is it's a Sunday morning watch at best when you're like hungover.
Okay. So I don't have I would put Scream at the top, and then my second would be Scream 5 because I haven't seen the others. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm Tim Sestito.
I'm Tommy Tavanay.
And thank you all for listening. We have now seen the movie.
Movies.
Shut up.